don't pay this fee. Well, my friend's the agent, the loan agent. I said, well, you can go directly to this lender. You know who the lender is because it says on the paperwork. And I tell lenders, we all make money. I have no trouble with that. But there's fair and there's taking advantage of a client who doesn't know any better.
Welcome to the Real Estate Pros Show, where we interview real estate investing professionals from coast to coast, as well as the service providers that serve the real estate investing industry. Our goal is simple: share what's working now to help you improve and scale your business to the next level and meet the pros that can help you get there. Real Estate Pros is powered by Investor Fuel, America's leader in helping real estate investors and professionals build the business you need to live the life you've always dreamed of. Let's start today's show. Property insurance for real estate investors doesn't have to be difficult, but it does need to be there to protect you when you need it. MyInvestorInsurance.com not only provides insurance at 15 to 30% cheaper than traditional agencies, it's built specifically for real estate investors like you. You can set up an account in about 2 minutes, get quotes on properties, turn on and turn off insurance for your fix and flip or rental properties in around 2 minutes without having to talk to anyone directly, all through our portal. There's no better way or faster way to make sure you've got the coverage you need to protect you, and no more lengthy policies either. Once you're set up, you're billed monthly and prorated by the day for however long your policy is active. It's powered by MSI, the third largest independent MGA, with 1.5 million customers and more than $1 billion in cumulative premiums written. Get set up today in about 2 minutes at myinvestorinsurance.com/fuel.
Welcome back to the Real Estate Pros Podcast. I'm Cody Crabb, and joining me today is Kirk Atamian of Kirk Atamian Commercial Real Estate in Fresno, California. Kirk helps business owners and first-time buyers navigate commercial real estate, and today we're talking about what it takes to buy your first commercial property the right way. Thanks so much for joining us today, Kirk.
No, I'm very excited to talk about this. I love this subject.
Yeah, so I guess I always like to start with the origin story. So how did you get into this in the first place? Did you start in real estate? Did you start with the businesses? Like, tell us more about that.
So my background was probably way before people remember. I used to install phones in cars before they were even portable.
Wow.
Before I was a phone installer. So I grew the business to a bunch of stores. And what happened was I end up realizing, hey, I'm paying rent every month. I should buy the stores. So I ended up buying the stores. And then in 2015 or so, the market just changed. I semi-retired, but I owned the stores. Now, in that meantime, I worked with one person who was a client, but he also $200 million of commercial real estate. So I worked with him and I went under his wing. And about 5 years ago, I went out on my own and just kind of going after the same people that I was 20 years earlier.
And so just to clarify, what kind of people are those? Like you say, just like you, but
business owners who are paying rent and who want to expand, need a bigger location, need a second location. And traditionally, they just call the name on the door and who has it listed, and there's no negotiating. They don't know the ins and outs of it. And I've done so many negotiations throughout my career. It was super easy to get into this field, and I had the connections, which made a big difference too. Now I went from being their client to representing my client to the other brokerages. So it was a semi easy to get my foot in the door, but it was still tough because commercial real estate is a good old boys club, and you got to have connections or you can't get past the first person on the phone.
Yeah. So I'd love to hear kind of how you started building those connections. In what ways did you, I mean, we're talking car phone era, so this might not be as applicable. It might be a little different now, but can you give us like, how did you start to build that network, and what do you see now being the best way to build a network?
So this is how I got my first building is literally exactly what I'm doing now. And at the end of the story, so a guy comes in my store who bought a phone and said, you need your own building. And I'm literally like 23 years old. I can't afford a building. He said, I'll take care of everything. Can you come up with $20,000 down? Which was possible. And he literally found me a building in a small hometown in Madera. And I gave the guy 20. He got me an owner carry on the deal. Greatest thing ever. I was all, wow, this is great. I was paying 10% interest, which at that time, I was just happy to get into it. And looking back, it's a good and bad on the interest rate. 3 years later, I refinanced this to 7. And then I realized when I got more stores, if I could own the building, I have something at the end because I knew it wasn't going to last forever.
Stop living on an island and join the #1 mastermind in America for professional real estate investors. Investor Fuel is a community of hundreds of the nation's top investors working together to build stronger businesses and better lives. In addition to the amazing community of real estate investors acting as a board of advisors for one another, Investor Fuel members have access to 100% funding on purchase and repairs for our members only, a health insurance program, and benefits and discounts that more than pays for the membership of most of our members, meaning it's actually costing you money to not be a member of Investor Fuel. If you're looking to scale your business and build a business that allows you to live the life of your dreams, please visit investorfuel.com today and book a call with our team.
So I end up buying, I think, 4 more buildings and having my stores in them. And the craziest part of this whole thing is I end up being a commercial agent because I love this, but I had a piece of property I sold. It took 2 years to rezone it. An agent represented me. I didn't hear from him for 2 years. I dealt with city zoning, everything, and he knocked on the door literally a week before I closed and asked for a $72,000 commission check. And at that point, I said, I can do this better than other people can. I have a big ego, so I just felt like, hey, I can do it good, and that's how I started. And to make the whole story around it, the guy who got me my first building, he literally has the office suite next to my office. So we're literally in competition, but he's 85 now, so he feeds me a lot of work, but it is around, we end up back together.
Well, that's cool. Yeah, that's it's a full circle there. All right, so I guess my curiosity is, so who's listening to this who should really be thinking about doing this? So like, let's say, what position would you be in a business owner where this would start to make sense?
So there's a couple key people I work with. There's really 3 real key person. The good thing is I work with Remax Commercial, so we are obligated to only office, only retail. So my first client is someone who's looking to do investing. They saved up some money. They want to buy an investment property. Usually it's in the $500,000 range. So it's not a big investment property. And we find something that gives them a good return, and they usually handle the maintenance themselves and the small stuff. Then we step up to a business owner who's been in business for a while, but he's paying rent kind of like I was, and he needs a bigger building or a second location. And then we go after the lease or buy. And then I do a lot of tenant representative too. Besides landlord, tenant rep, I do. And then we go into the bigger investors who know what they want, and it's more of a project management role. Is they pretty much have an idea, Kirk, it fits in this category, this list, find it for me, and we move forward with them. And then the last is we get into some development. So the really large ones is we find the land, we build it, like we got a 280,000 foot warehouse we're building on one property, and then I go to lease it at the end. So we kind of scale everywhere. Obviously, the bigger the project is, the more financially rewarding it is for me.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. So, all right. What is it that you kind of look at first? You're helping someone look at a deal to see if it fits them. Like, what is it that you're seeing? What do you just look at numbers? Are there other things that you take into account as well?
Well, the very first thing is I vent the person out, because everybody has a dream and there's nothing wrong with that, but it's got to be realistic. If you have bad credit, and you got to work on your credit first. If you have no down payment, you got to work on it. If you tell me you want to open up a coffee shop next to Starbucks and only charge $1 a cup of coffee, I'd be realistic. So I do vent them very hard on my clients, where I ask them for a business plan. I ask them, how are you going to be able to do this, to make sure, because the last thing we're going to do is spend 3 months, 6 months, and they get the property, but then they don't make it. So I do a very, very strong venting, and some people do get very upset. They're like, well, I just want to see it. And then we get people who say, well, in 2 years, I want to buy a property. Can you show me properties now? And honestly, I stay away from that, because 2 years, everything can change. I could be gone. You could be gone. So
Yeah.
I would say I'm pretty hard-nosed about this is what we want, but my clients who work with me, they like that because they know it's to the point, and that's why I do commercial, not residential. There's no emotions in it. It's strictly numbers. Is it going to work for you? And there's a lot to leasing that people don't understand. People think, oh, there's a building for lease. How much is it? There's zoning. Does somebody have exclusivity in the center? Is there enough parking for what you want? There's so many negotiating the lease. There's so many terms and things that go beyond.
Okay. Yeah, I think it sounds like it comes with some unique challenges. It's a lot of times in real estate investing, as I'm sure you know, it very much depends on what you're investing in and where you're investing in it, and you will have some kind of unique challenges. So you mentioned a couple of things like zoning and parking and things like that. Are there any other things that are kind of unique to this type of investment, and what are those?
If you're looking for consistent, high-quality leads, look no further than Investor Machine. Investor Machine isn't just another agency, it's the most sophisticated, data-driven lead generation company on the planet for real estate investors, and serves the role of being not just a lead generator for your business, but a marketing partner that is helping you achieve your goals along the way. Go to investormachine.com to learn more and schedule a call with our team today.
So if you're the land, if you buy an investment property and it has a lease on it already, you have to kind of what kind of lease is, because people have to understand or don't understand. There's like different types of leases. You have triple net, where the tenant pays a base rent plus the taxes, insurance, and common area. There's gross, like an office space where you pay one price, you get electricity, internet, everything. And then kind of in between, what we call modified gross, you might not pay property taxes and insurance, but you will pay this. But if you're taking over someone's existing lease, who you buy a company that has a lease on it, you have to see what those terms are. Like we recently, I'll go into a quick story. About a year and a half ago, my dad's funeral, the old lady comes up to me and says, "Kirk, I heard you sell real estate." I go, "I do." She goes, "I have a house I want to sell." I said, "Well, I don't do houses. I can recommend." Okay, it's in Pacific Grove. And if you're outside of California, that's like the high end of Monterey. I thought, well, wait a second. I'm not going to say no to this.
You
So
flip
we
back around. What did
researched
you
it.
say? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. We researched it. And I thought, man, this is probably a $2.5 million house. So I teamed up with a residential agent. I said, hey, it's not my specialty, but I need her name, Susan Cardenas. I'll give her a shout out because she killed it. We met it. We said, we're going to put it on. And this lady was so nice. She said, I don't, and that's about a 2-hour trip for us. She said, I want you guys local. I don't want nobody over there to handle it. So she took charge. Susan took charge of the project. And literally, we got a $250,000 offer within the first 4 hours, all cash, 7 days on the property, which this is where it gets good. You would think, okay, and the lady's never been to the house. She goes once a year to this house. She's 85. She doesn't drive. Well, she goes, I don't want to pay taxes on the house. What do I do with the money? And I said, well, there's something called a 1031 exchange. We'll buy something and then you get the income off that, which is great. We ended up buying a Starbucks, which has a 110-page lease. So you're talking about reviewing the lease and everything.
Yeah.
When you get in and buying a Starbucks, you're pretty much going on their rules. You can't, there's no bullying. I sold the Arm & Hammer Bacon soda building, a Fortune 100 company. They pretty much tell you what you're going to do. But so one sale led into another sale, and now she owns a Starbucks. And now at 85 years old, she wants to build 50 diners in her hometown. Yeah, and she
Wow,
knows the numbers. She's
not stopping.
every
That's
month
awesome.
we go over the statement, the income statement, what they spent, and it keeps us sharp. I guess what I say is that you never know where the next lead will go. And I have so many stories like this where somebody will call me and say, oh, so-and-so recommended me. I'm like, oh, that guy's been 3 years telling me he's going to buy a property. He never does. And this guy buys a $4 million property in 5 days from me. And I'm all, holy mackerel. So
Yeah.
you never say no to leads because they are good ones. I mean, you never know.
Yeah. I wondered, have you ever had kind of, in a network, like I tend to see like leads get passed back and forth a lot. Like if someone's like, oh, I heard about this place in Michigan, and you just have a friend in Michigan and you might pass it along to them. But have you ever been the recipient of something like that, like a referral within the real estate community, and how did that work out?
So out of state is limited because I will say the Central Valley is not really a hot spot for out of state investment, even though it is. Your money goes so far in the Central Valley, but they usually, when they come from out of state, they're looking either Southern Cal or Northern Cal. But I do a lot of referrals from residential agents who have a client who want to get their first property. And I do a lot of work with residential. And we have a special program for residential agents where if we do a deal 50-50, I handle the whole sale, they handle the client, they learn with me. we split any compensation 50-50. Moving forward, they come to their second deal. They do all the work. I just make sure everything's correct. I'm in the back end now and they're in the front, and they keep 75 and 25. And on the third deal, I tell them, you do everything. If you need me, call me, and you keep 100%. And we've had a couple people on the second deals. No one's made it to the third deal. But residential agents have a lot of stuff, but there is a lot of misleading stuff too. And like you said, it's a good old boys club, so you might not get the call back. And I'd like to go over two SBA loans because that's pretty big if we
Yeah.
have time.
Yeah, let's do it.
If you're a new or newer real estate investor looking to launch or grow your real estate investing business, please check out Investor Fuel Club. It's a coaching community, but unlike anything you've ever seen before. And you can actually partner with members of our mastermind from coast to coast on deals right in your market. There's no better opportunity to build a consistent business than to literally partner with pros to help you avoid costly mistakes, avoid the need for capital to do deals, and help you eliminate your fears as you're starting your business. Learn more about Investor Fuel Club at investorfuel.com/club.
Okay. So SBA, Small Business Administration, is great for helping clients or investors buy a building. You have to operate 51%. So you have to be an owner operator, but you can get down with less than 10% into a building. A little higher interest rate, but in 3 years you can refinance it. But it goes off prime plus. So if the prime drops, you're saving. Prime goes up, you're going up. But it gives you the opportunity to get into a building for less than 10%. The sad part about this is there's a lot of companies who say they're SBA lenders, but they're middle people. We have somebody from down south that's hitting the Central Valley, and I didn't recognize it until the client brought me the term sheet. Well, on the $600,000 loan, they charged them a $30,000 application fee, and that
My
like
gosh.
totally blew me away.
Yeah, that's pretty
And then
wild.
I
Yeah.
had another client who paid it, and it just blew me away. I was all, "Don't pay this fee." "Well, my friend's the agent, the loan agent." I said, "Well, you can go directly to this lender. You know who the lender is because it says on the paperwork." And I tell lenders, we all make money. I have no trouble with that. But there's fair and there's taking advantage of a client who doesn't know any better. And that's where it starts. So we actually started in the Central Valley, the own thing, which has nothing to do with me personally, but I brought the SBA lenders here to work with loan companies and to real estate residential agents so they can learn the difference.
Hmm.
You know, how to deal directly with an SBA lender who's making the decision, not somebody who has to send it to somebody to send it to somebody. Yeah, SBA is a great program. It's not the cheapest, but it's like any real estate investment. If you get your foot in the door, it's good to make money. It's hard for real estate not to make money unless you over leverage yourself.
Yeah. Okay. Well, yeah. Thanks for breaking that down for us. I think when we get really specific like this, I think that's when it starts to get really helpful because we've all heard little pieces of advice here and there, but like when you get into someone that really knows about one thing really well, that's when you start to learn. All right. So let's say someone is let me put it this way. Do you see yourself growing or expanding this? Did you have any where do you see the business in like a year or so?
So I'm probably the hardest person to work with because I'm OCD on everything. So
Uh-huh.
I have 3 offices. I run all 3 by myself. I team up with other agents in general, but I don't want no agents on my team because I feel right now I'm pretty busy. The last 3 years, I've been the top 5 nationwide, my team, which is me and an assistant. So I like to handle everything on the front end, and then pretty much I like go crazy on my assistant on the back end, Sat Winder, who just got her license. But I feel like I don't want to expand more than I can handle because I can honestly say I do more. I have 20 listings right now, which some brokerages don't even have 20 listings, and our sales do more than a lot of small brokerages do altogether. So I have to have enough where I can control everything. So we opened 2 more offices. So we cover Fresno County, Madera County, and Tulare County with 3 different offices. I travel back and forth. I love what I do. I work 7 days a week, but I don't think there'll ever be a point where I bring on additional agents. I like working with outside agents better because I feel they're more hungry. They want the deal done. than doing it in-house.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, this has been really helpful, I think. If people want to work with you, learn from you, who should they be? First of all, what should they, who's the ideal person to get in touch with you? And also, where do they need to be geographically so they can get an idea of what kind of the area you're in?
Basically, my area will be pretty much from Bakersfield all the way to Stockton, Central California. Mary is in the 559 area code, but we do reach out. I do have connections all over the United States with different departments. So we have a lot of investors who invest out of state because it's actually better deals than investing in California right now. So if someone comes to me and says they got $2 million in California, it's not great. In Tennessee, you're buying something amazing for $2 million. But I'm on Instagram. I'm also on LinkedIn, and it's on both of them is my name, Kirk Atamian. I do a lot of short videos about commercial real estate, different terms, what to look for. It'd be great to follow me. But I'm also open. I get probably 25 messages a day from people asking quick questions about,
Wow.
hey, I have a friend who wants to do that. So I'm very open to those. I get back to them every day. I literally start my day at 5 and end my day at 8 o'clock every day. Saturday and Sundays, I cut it down a little bit, but I truly, truly love this. It's been very financially rewarding for me. So I just feel like I'm passing it back on.
Yeah, you want to pay it forward for people that
Yes.
that are into it. Yeah. Well, thank you. That's a really generous offer. I would ask anyone that is kind of somewhat interested in this specific space within real estate to try that out, because you don't get offers like that too often. He's just like, yeah, go ahead and ask. It's fine. Well, cool. Thank you again so much for all your time and for offering to do that for our guests and or for our listeners. And listeners, thank you for joining us today too. If you liked what you heard, go ahead and like and subscribe and comment and all the things. Until next episode, we will see you later. And Kirk, thanks one more time for joining us.
Thank you very much. We'll see everybody later. Bye.
See ya.
Thanks for joining us for today's Real Estate Pros Show. You can learn more about the amazing benefits of the Investor Fuel Mastermind community, including surrounding yourself with hundreds of other rock stars, 100% financing for your deals, and members-only discounts from vendors you're likely already using that, as a member of Investor Fuel, will save you more than the cost of your membership. Visit investorfuel.com to learn more. If you're interested in joining us as a guest of this show, please visit investorfuel.com/pros to apply. You can also check the show notes for access to free resources, how to get access to world-class lead generation, and much more. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss another episode. Have a great day. We'll see you on the next show.